Hello, hello, beautiful, magical souls. Oh my goodness. It's incredible the amount of healing that you have to go through and to come out the other side, to access more light. And, I'm going to be talking about some of our story, and any kind of hatred or trolling, you'll just be blocked. So don't even if you want to, cool, but that just shows more about you, because I am going to be talking about the trolls that I've encountered over the last couple of days, and also some of our story and answering some of the questions that I get asked frequently since we opened up about our story over the last couple of weeks. And it's just an important space for awareness, and the amount of central nervous system work that I have to do right now to keep myself from lowering my frequency, thank you, Lindsay, is incredible. But it's what I signed up for. We shared our story a couple of weeks ago about our union going through some really intense trauma a couple of years ago, something that we've kept near and dear to our heart for many reasons. We waited a couple of years to share our journey until we were really on the other side of it. And we're not completely on the other side of it, because it's a lifelong healing journey, as with many things. But we felt it was important to share our story, because we know that per our soul contracts and what we have signed up in this lifetime for, just like I have with all of my past trauma as a child and anything else I've been through that was really traumatic, I always end up turning that pain into purpose, because that is what I'm called to do. But when you do that and you open yourself up so vulnerably, you're going to get trolls, and you're going to get internet trolls. And I know that that's a really low frequency to call people, but it's just true. It's just what everybody recognizes, right? And it sparked a whole new level of healing for us. And so the trolls that are coming on to my last reel that went viral, talking about the infidelity and talking about the healing journey and talking about, all the things, it has triggered a lot of people that don't know us, a lot of people that came across a reel one time in my stuff when it went viral, and casting so much hatred and negativity. And that's okay, because that's just what people do when they're triggered. And it's what people do when they're not healed in themselves. It's what people do when they're not sovereign. It's what people do when they're not awakened. And it's interesting to me how somebody can think, and it's interesting to me because, and I'm not sure if anybody else feels this way, but it always baffles me, and it triggers me too. And it triggers me because I can never imagine doing that to somebody. I can never imagine going to somebody's post that I don't know, or if I do know them, and them sharing something really personal and vulnerable and authentic and true to them, and and then me going and giving unsolicited advice or hatred or whatever. And somebody said to me, well, you put your life online, you got to expect. And I was like, no, I actually don't have to expect that, because I see people put their stuff online all the time. I did some sage and it's clearing out my throat chakra. And you will never catch me blasting hatred, attacking somebody, calling them weak, calling them stupid, calling them all kinds of horrible things, saying horrible things about them or their family or their situation. You would never, even if I disagree, even if I don't align with it, you would never catch me doing that, because I've done the inner work. But I've caught myself really triggered over the last 48 hours, which is so much hatred being spewed and so many thoughtless pieces of people just spewing out online. And so I want to say that first and foremost, before I go into some of the things I want to talk about, is awakened people that have really done the work don't act like that. They just don't, because you know that everything is a chance to ascend. You know that love and compassion and forgiveness and understanding is what heals the world. And so I've really had to do a lot of deep internal work the last 2 days as that reel went viral and the trolls came out, to not allow myself too much to lower my frequency into disgust and hatred and just nastiness, because it infuriates me and I'm human. And one of my mottos is love, light, no BS. And there's been a few that I've popped off back to, and that's my human side, because some people in my eyes are just ridiculous. And it's also fascinating to me, as we've shared our story about healing through infidelity and all of this, the lack of people's viewpoint on healing and redemption. People calling me weak, people saying, oh, he'll just do it again. People just saying that I'm horrible for continuing and taking him back, that he got away with it. He'll do blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, it just shows that people don't understand the power of God and the light and healing and redemption. And again, this has brought up a whole other layer of healing, because you've got to understand that this all came out almost 2.5 years ago. We've been working and healing through this for 2.5 years. And we are the happiest and healthiest and most in love that we've ever been. We've actually created a sacred union through the trauma. And some people can't grasp that, and that's okay. That's okay. We're not here to convince anybody of anything. We're here to spread light. We're here to spread hope and also share our hearts, because we know that that's what we're being called to. But years have passed, and it's brought up this whole new wave of healing, because now the world is witnessing us in what we've already been doing behind the scenes for years and will continue to do for years. And so some of the things that we've been asked, I want to kind of cover today. And this can just be a live that you put on. I'm probably going to upload it to YouTube. So if you like to play it in the background, you can. But I just felt like sharing a little bit of our story in my heart, you know? Some of the questions that I asked when Danny shared that it was with 7 women was, oh my gosh, you took him back every time. No. Everything came out 2.5 years ago. All of the wrongdoings, all of the trauma came out 2.5 years ago. I did not know about anything before. And there's some people that will say, because I used to be this woman, y'all, I used to get it. I told Danny in the very beginning of our relationship, I will drop you like a bad habit if you ever cheat on me. I've done it in the past with other guys. I would do it to you, no questions asked. Okay? I was that woman. I was that woman that would never, ever, ever stay in a union, in a relationship, if somebody betrayed me, period. Okay? So I get it. It's also one of the reasons, of many reasons, that as an awakened woman, I never say never. Okay? So all of it came out 2.5 years ago. It broke me. It broke me, y'all. It's not like I was just like, oh, okay, we'll just move through this. It's good. There were talks of divorce. There was separation. There was deep, big conversations around what this looks like. I was so angry. I was so broken. And I also know that a lot of it, all of it was divinely orchestrated, right? I found out 2.5 years ago after we had moved cities and we were in a new place, and I was doing even deeper spiritual work, deeper work with source, deeper work with my soul, deeper work in my spirituality. And it came out exactly when it was supposed to, because I can promise you, and Danny and I have talked about this, if it would have came out when we still lived in North Texas, we probably would have got a divorce, because I wasn't sovereign enough. I wasn't healed enough to be able to see with clarity what was really going on. Okay? And that can trigger some people. It's triggered a lot of these trolls online that think that I'm stupid for staying, or thinking that he's gone without consequences, or this or that, or, you know, they're casting their own judgment that this is going to happen again, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is. I mean, it is what it is. Their projections are their projections, right? But we've had years, and it's not without challenges. Y'all, I still have PTS. I still have post-traumatic stress from this. Okay? I've had a lot of trauma in my life. I had a very challenging upbringing. I've endured a lot of abuse. I've endured a lot of things, but this was the thing that hurt the most. And I still deal with the pain. I still work through the triggers. It doesn't mean that I am without pain just because I have turned that pain and continually turn that pain into purpose. It doesn't mean that, right? And so when people ask, how do you forgive? How do you move on? It took me a while to fully feel true forgiveness. And I'll never forget, 2.5 years later, I still get triggered with things. The difference is I'm not turning those triggers into rage, into anger. I turn inward and I work with the triggers. We have deep, open communications. We talk about everything. I share my heart. He shares his. And I still work through it. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. But I truly believe that all of this was divinely orchestrated as a part of our soul's blueprint, as a part of our ascension. And one of the things that I was worried about, I posted a reel yesterday about a poem that I wrote about dealing with the trolls and dealing with the hurt and having to hold that, hold that feeling of people judging and being angry and whatever it is. And somebody had said, how are you? Because I want you to understand, for those that are new or don't know me, or if you've been following for a while, I understand that some people are going to look at my body of work, my life's work, and judge it. Because for 14 years, I've been a transformational life coach. For 9 years, 10 years, I've been an intuitive business mentor. For the last 7 years, I've done deep spiritual work, helping women awaken and heal. And for years and years, Danny and I have done couples work and helped dozens of couples heal their marriages. Not from betrayal necessarily, but heal their marriages and communicate better and, really redeem their marriages. And somebody, and as we were about to launch our new program, Sacred Union Blueprint, people are questioning, you don't have a sacred union, you've dealt with infidelity, blah, 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 blah. Our union is only sacred now because of what we've been through, because of what we've healed, because of the challenges that we have overcome. And I think it was Peterson that said, Jordan Peterson, that said, a true strong marriages has not been without challenge. And our challenges might have been bigger than other people's, but it has strengthened us. It has made us stronger. It has, y'all, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, or 2.5 years in, a year and a half ago, we had gone through a year of deep healing, deep awakening, and I feel like I finally fell in love for the first time in my life. I thought I was in love before. I thought that I was, in love with, past boyfriends or even with Danny. But until I healed the deepest layers of my heart and soul through this experience, because of this experience, I feel like I finally know what it's like to be in love. And y'all are gonna have to excuse me. I'm not gonna try to hold back tears, but my central nervous system is really at a peak right now. So I've been deep in spiritual central nervous system work. I'm shaking. But it's only because of this journey that we've created the Sacred Union. And our Sacred Union Blueprint program that we'll talk about later is not just for couples that have been through infidelity or betrayal. It's for any couple that wants to communicate better, step into their divine roles as husband and wife, to heal the pain of miscommunication or disrespect or not fully living in alignment as, husband and wife. There's going to be one video, I think, on betrayal out of the 15 to 20 videos that we record for this program. This is about aligning and creating a sacred union through the work. And I think people misunderstand when they say your union's not sacred, you know, he cheated on you, blah, blah, blah. It's only because of that we got to this place. And just like my trauma as a child and in my teens and in my early 20s that I experienced, the abuse that I experienced, and the abusers that I had to forgive and move through, y'all, just like that, I'm so grateful. I wouldn't change anything. Is the pain sometimes excruciating? Yes. But what's on the other side of that pain is so much bigger than me, than Danny. It's a mission. It's God's calling for us to help other people. And so to the people that think like we don't have a sacred union or we shouldn't be coaching couples because of what he did in the past and all this stuff, like, then don't listen. Then don't be a part of it. If that's where your heart and your mind are, if you don't believe in healing redemption, if you aren't awakened enough to believe that people can change, then this is not. Yes, Jesse, there will be a replay up, my love. Then I'm not for you. Then Danny's not for you, and that's okay. We had our best friends at the time that were like family to us abandon us in our darkest times because they couldn't handle it. And that's okay. They weren't ride or die. They weren't, oh my God, we love y'all so much. We know your true hearts. We know your hearts, and we are going to stand behind you and fight this with you and be there as a support. They didn't. They bailed. And they shamed us, especially Danny. And if you're spiritual and you're awakened at all, then you know that those low frequencies keep somebody down. And so we're glad that they exited stage left because it opened up space for some of the most beautiful friendships that we've ever had, people that actually understood. And y'all, it's hard to understand this level of darkness, and this level of redemption. I get it. I was the woman in the past that would say, I would always know. I'm psychic. I'm literally psychic. I see things, I hear things, I know things, and I would know. These women, I used to say this, y'all. These women are so naive. These women are so dumb that they wouldn't know. I would know. But when you're that close and you have that much karma with somebody like I do with Danny, many, many, many lifetimes together, there are veils that are over. There are things that block you from seeing because you see their true soul and their heart and the person that they really are. No matter what anybody says, Danny is the best man that I know. Even though he has hurt me greatly in the past, he has always been, at his heart level, the best man that I know. Period. Period. Has he done some really horrible, shitty things? Yes. Have I forgiven him? Yes. Will I ever forget? No. But I promise you, you are creating a timeline, whether in this lifetime or the next. Because here's the deal, y'all. We sign up as souls, we incarnate, okay, and reincarnate to clear karma, to learn lessons, to ascend in frequency on a soul level. This is why we're in a human experience. And for us to do that, we have to learn. How do we learn? Through the shit. We do not learn, transform, grow, and ascend when everything is perfect. We don't clear karma and close karmic chapters and clear karma and karmic agreements between you and another person if you keep repeating the same old patterns and you don't heal to the root of the issues. There are a lot of people, Danny and I, for 9.5 years, we're together almost 12 now, for 9.5 years, I thought we had a really great marriage. And we did in a lot of ways. But I also knew there were things missing, and so did he. I was still very guarded with the masculine for good reason. Now looking back, I never felt safe with the masculine from all of the abuse that I endured at the hands of men. I had a lot of sexual trauma. I had a lot of trauma that I had to overcome. And so I had a lot of guards up. He had a lot of wounds with the feminine and mother wounds and all the things, right? But we came into this incarnation on our twin flame journey over and over again to finally heal some big chunks of things, to clear and heal generational curses. And we've done that, and we continue to do that. And we will forever. We have a soul contract to go through this. And so it really does hurt my heart. It hurts my feelings because I'm human when people are judging our experience, because everybody judges their experiences through their own lens. And if you have not traversed through something or healed something that someone else has, and you are judging them for it, that just shows your level of awakening and connection to true light and true source. One of my biggest teachings that I teach in my community is how to heal judgment, and why healing judgment is so important. We see through our own filters. So I don't expect anybody to fully understand the why behind why I stayed, or the why behind, why Danny did what he did, or anything like that. Because if you haven't walked into the darkness and done the work to bring yourself back to the light, to the depths of somebody else, then you don't understand and you won't. But if you're doing the work and you haven't walked through the darkness that somebody else has, and you're truly connected to the light and you're truly connected to God, then you observe without judgment. You observe without judgment. There is so much ignorance out there. And one of the hardest things with judgment is what I always tell my students and my soul up women. It was like, the hardest part about judgment is not judging the judgers. Because some of those troll comments, a lot of them I blocked, a lot of them I didn't even respond to. I just swiped them off my notification screen. I think it's over 500,000 views now, which isn't even the worst trolling video I've got. I think I still have one pinned that's like, back in March was like 5 million views or something. And the trolls came out for that. And it was just crazy. But I'm human, and I have a defense mechanism, and I do get angry, and I do get pissed off, and I do get sad, and I do get hurt. I'm human. I'm messy. I'm human. But I'm trying through this experience to remind myself that I signed up for this. And there's going to be people that say, you wouldn't sign up for this. Well, then you don't understand, and that's okay. But I'm better for it. I'm a better woman for it. Danny's a better man for it. I'm a better wife. He's a better husband. We are better parents because of this trauma. And if someone can't understand that, then they sure as hell have not healed through something traumatic. And I'm saying healed through something traumatic. A lot of people will go through something traumatic and then they bail. And I'm not saying anyone has to stay, whether it's abuse, whether it's trauma, like my kind of abuse in the past, whatever. But a lot of people will just run away from it and think that that's healing. And it's not. I didn't stay with Danny because I thought I had to stay. I stayed with Danny after some separation, after tons of deep healing work, big communication, watching him do his healing work. I mean, y'all, he had to gain my trust back. He had to prove to me over and over and over again that he's a changed man, and he continues to this day. But I stayed because deep down I know the man that I married. I know the contracts that we have. I know the good heart that he has. I also know his trauma and how trauma manifests, and the things that he did were his traumas manifested because he hadn't faced his demons yet. He hadn't faced his own trauma that he endured as a child. There's no coincidence that Danny and I have very similar upbringings. We did trauma bond when we first met. He was the first person that I dated almost 12 years ago that I thought truly understood me. Because in the past, I dated a bunch of guys that had these perfect not perfect, but they presented themselves as these perfect cookie cutter upbringings and this perfect family and blah, blah, blah. But they had their own demons too. I just didn't know it till after. And I always felt like nobody understood me. And so we did. I'm not denying that Danny and I almost 12 years ago trauma bonded, because we did. That's just facts. But we trauma bonded and we found each other in this lifetime, again, to heal this big stuff, to navigate this path. And when people ask me, and again, I'm just kind of going through the questions I think people ask. So if you have a question, please ask it in the comments while we're on live at least. If you have any comments after the replay is up, you can DM me, but I encourage you to sign up for our Sacred Union Blueprint waitlist. We'll be doing like a free masterclass to lead into that and stuff, which will answer a lot of questions too. But again, this is not, the Sacred Union Blueprint program is not about infidelity or healing from that. That'll be one aspect. It's about healing your marriage, ascending in your marriage. Something that we've done a lot of work in, not just in the last 2.5 years, y'all. The first 9.5 years of our marriage, we had, besides that was going on behind my back, like we had really solid foundation. It was missing a lot of things, which we learned over the last 7 years and started to heal. But we can only teach this stuff because we have navigated the depths of hell together and come out the other side and created a sacred union because of the fire that we've walked through. We are forged through fire. And the clients and the couples that we work with now that are walking through similar paths, whether it's betrayal or miscommunication or just disrespect or just unhappiness and not being fulfilled, whatever it is, they trust us because in their hearts, they know our hearts. And in their words, so to speak, I trust you because I've seen the work that you and Danny have done. I've seen what you have fought for and healed and come out the other side. And if you can heal that, then I know I can heal this with my mate. Period. And in order to create a sacred union, I have women in my DMs right now like, I want to save my marriage. I want to do this, but he doesn't want to. And my honest answer is, if he doesn't want to, then it's not your time or it's not going to happen. And that sounds really harsh. And there's a few things that I suggest to women in that space. Number one, always do your work first. Always. That's why I do the work with the women that I do in the world, just to help women become better for themselves. And if you want to heal your union, you do the work to become the woman that you believe in and that you love. And a lot of times, naturally, that will start to heal a lot of the rifts in your union. It won't save it or rescue it, and I'll get to that in a second, but it will heal parts of you that need your attention. A lot of women want their men to be these kings for them, and they're not acting like queens. So it's always about you first. What work do you need to do first in order to heal yourself, to ascend yourself? Then you can ask of him what you need and desire. But in order to create a sacred union, it takes two willing participants. It takes two people that are committed to doing the work. So you do your work first. You do the divine feminine work. You do the inner child healing. You do the spiritual work to heal yourself, to become the woman that you can be proud of, that you feel is functioning at her higher self. Then you can ask of him what you need. And then maybe you softening, you awakening, you changing some of your ways will help him wake up. A lot of the work I do with the women in Soul Up and in my Divine Feminine bundle is all about you stepping into the queen energy, you stepping into your divine feminine, because a lot of relationships are struggling right now because there are two wounded energies trying to make it work. There's the woman that is usually encoded with trauma that needs to be healed, wounded energy, and she's usually, at least the women in my world, majority of the women in my world are acting out of wounded masculine energy. Tough girl energy, right? I'm the tough girl. I don't need no man. My man sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'll just do it all on my own. And then at the same time saying, my man sucks. He doesn't do anything. I don't trust him to even change a light bulb. And then you wonder why your man's not in king energy. You wonder why he doesn't feel safe to be in masculine divine energy. So it starts with you, ladies. It starts with you doing your own work. Then you can ask. But I'm sorry to say that if your man or your woman doesn't want to do the work and they just feel like they are out, then it's a not right now or it's not going to happen. And that's okay too. I would not have stayed with Danny if he would not have taken responsibility, if he would not dove headfirst into healing his trauma, exposing everything, awakening himself, doing the deep work for himself. When we started this journey 2.5 years ago together, after all of this happened, that was like the main thing. I'm going to do my work, you do your work, and maybe, it was a maybe, we will do the work together. Maybe we will do the work together. But I was committed to healing the parts of me that manifested this reality. And he was committed to the parts of him that manifested this reality, because people, this is going to trigger the shit out of some people. I just don't care at this point because I'm just, I guess, triggering so many people. But I attracted this in some form or fashion. I'm not saying that I deserved it, but I attracted this on a soul level to learn through, to grow through, and to heal some deeper levels of my own stuff that I'm still working on. I'm still working on healing some wounds that were reopened with this, that were cracked a little bit deeper. But nothing happens by accident. And I am not saying by any means that any woman should stay if she feels like she needs to leave. But for me and my journey, this is my journey. I stayed and healed and worked on things because literally on a soul level, that's what was being called of me. Danny left for like a day or two and it about broke me and it about broke him. We then did a 30-day in-home separation to navigate this space. I did not stay because of anything other than that is what my heart and soul was telling me should happen. I don't need the money. I don't need the security. I don't need any of that. I stayed because it was my heart and my soul was calling me to stay. And I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. And I'm also not saying that if any men are watching this and I'm sure Danny would back me up on this, that say that a man cheats on, and I know it happens the other way, it's just more often the man cheats, right? But the man cheats, and if you're a man watching this and you're frustrated because your wife is not giving you the time of day or she's not willing to heal or whatever, suck it up. You made your bed and you have to lay in it. And if that's where her heart is, that's where her heart is. And you should, again, and Danny would reiterate this, do your own work, become the man that she would want to be with. And maybe she will and maybe she won't, but you cannot be mad at her for being in her truth, which might be she doesn't want you. She's too hurt. She's too wounded. She's not ready to heal that aspect. She's done. And that's just part of it. And Danny will tell you the same thing. Danny, part of his deep work was realizing and coming to a place in his own healing journey where he realized that he didn't need me, where before he felt like he needed me for all those years. And he finally came to a realization that I actually don't need you. I just want you. And that set both of us free. There's so many nuances to this journey, into this healing. And I guess the point of this is I wanted to speak on this, even though I know that a lot of the trolls that are commenting on the reel that went viral and saying really hateful, hurtful things probably won't even watch this, which is fine. But I encourage you, if you are somebody that goes on the internet and sees one reel or one post and you immediately go to judgment for that person because you would never, check yourself. You don't know what you would do. I said I would never stay. And I did. And I'm grateful I did. And it's only through this work that I'm able to have a deeper level of compassion and grace and understanding and love for other people, even for the trolls. Because when I see people posting such hateful, nasty, definitive things about a stranger on the internet, it just shows me who they are. It doesn't represent who I am. And the only reason some people have asked, why are we even sharing this online? It's such a deep part of your blah, blah, blah. And it's because we were called to. It's because we know that our pain is meant to be turned into purpose to help other people. And it's already helped. It's been helping other people. Just behind the scenes. This is not, again, the judgment of you should never put your dirty laundry online, blah, 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 blah. How does anybody ever get help, real help, if somebody isn't willing to share their story and spread hope? You go sitting across from a therapist, no hate on therapists, but we did that, done that, and that is horrible for us. It was horrible for me. It's horrible for us. I've never resonated with traditional therapy. You go sit across from somebody you don't know their story, you don't know if they're in a happy marriage or a crumbling marriage, if they've been married 5 times, and you're just supposed to sit there and they're just supposed to ask you how you feel and give you a little bit of advice, and you don't know them, you don't know their heart, you don't know their story, you don't know what they've overcome, or did they just read some textbook and they think they know what they're talking about? But a lot of times they don't have the resonance. And you don't feel the resonance. And a lot of times, not sorry, for my experience, this is my experience, this isn't a judgment or a generalization. From my experience, traditional therapy just keeps the story going, and you just keep reliving and 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 reliving. You don't ever really truly ascend. I'm trying to think of any other questions that people have asked. Does our son know? There's a couple trolls on Facebook and then on the Instagram house. I just saw the hippie house pop up and I was like, house. On the Instagram reel that somebody was like, how could you put this online? Your son's going to see this one day, blah, blah, blah. Our son knows that our mission is to help people. He doesn't know about this yet. We're deciding when to tell him, because we know that it is going to hurt him, but we also know that it's going to be a beautiful learning opportunity for him to clear his own judgment and for him to heal through knowing that people aren't perfect and that you can make a mistake and you can be redeemed and you can come back from it. And hopefully also sharing our story with him one day, he will then be deterred from ever going down the same path. We're here to break generational curses. Adultery is in my paternal line, thick, deep. And it's in Danny's lineage in some way. Like, it runs deep. We're here to break that with being vulnerable, with being authentic, with exposing ourselves. Yes, there's differences, big differences, yes, between masculine, feminine, healing. And a reminder, we all have divine feminine, divine masculine, wounded feminine. We have both energies in us, right? But usually women have to heal from different things. A lot of times the women that I work with, and myself included, we have to heal from our mistrust of the masculine. Whether you've been abused or betrayed or neglected or whatever, it's usually a lot to do with healing your relationship with the masculine. Men and masculine energy, trusting that, right? And the masculine men usually have to heal their relationship with the feminine energies and with women, right? And with their own stuff. Because men and women in general, and I speak to men and women that in general have different ways of dealing, right? Like I said, Danny and I have very similar upbringings, lots of similar trauma, all the things, and we just dealt with it differently. It manifested in different ways. My husband also, which is the Aligned Alphas, which is his brand, all about helping men heal and get out of that toxic masculinity, but also out of the feminine, and really coming in and healing to a place where you feel aligned and emotionally intelligent and connected to your emotions, while also being the protector and the provider and the support and the foundation and that masculine energy, right? He has a free ebook that he has on his page that you can get as well. And then, of course, the Divine Feminine bundle from me. And then, of course, the Sacred Union Blueprint program coming soon. And then, of course, Soul Up, my community of women that are all over the world healing and awakening and going on this journey together in sacred sisterhood. So back to our son, he doesn't know yet. And we're deciding when to tell him, because that's not an easy conversation to have, to knock your parents off a pedestal that they've been on for so long. But if we do it from the right place, right, he's going to find out one day. But he does know that he knows a lot of our past trauma, just not together. And he knows that we're here to help people. He knows mommy and daddy help people through their own experiences. And this will be hard, but no different. And again, my greatest ask through all of this, and I just keep praying about it and really being with it, is that maybe this will help the internet trolls with their judgment and seeing somebody through their hearts. I think people forget that there's humans on the other side of these screens with lives and hearts and feelings and experiences. And we're here to activate and trigger, it's just a part of it. But I want to wrap up and just say thank you to all the love and support and compassion that we have received. Thank you for those that are awakened enough to really see the truth behind it all, that, that this is all divinely orchestrated, and that Danny and I are so grateful that this is what it is. It doesn't make it easy, but we're years into this now, y'all. It may seem brand new to the internet, but it's like we've been in it for 2.5 years healing this. Like, we are breaking the statistics, right? We are breaking generational curses. It's what we signed up for. I don't want anybody's pity, even though I know people give it, but I appreciate the love and compassion and support and understanding, and I know Danny does too. And I pray that people's hearts will be opened, that hope will be given, that new boundaries will be set, that more communication will happen. And that's it. That's it. Just think the next time you go to judge and to judge somebody on the internet, because you don't know. And you can say all day, never, I would never, I would never, I would never. And I promise you, if you fixate on that, it will come back to bite you in the ass. It just will. I was that way. I was that woman. Okay. And also to the women that have been betrayed, you're not broken. I'm not broken. You're not broken. You're just not. It's how trauma manifests sometimes. It's how things happen. And you can either choose with or without your partner to heal the aspects of yourself that need to be healed through it. Because there's aspects of yourself that need to be healed. Just like there's aspects of them that need to be healed. And there is hope. And I don't judge anybody that stays or leaves. That's everybody's own journey. Period. All right. I'm going to upload this replay. I'll probably put it on YouTube as well. Again, not that any of the internet trolls are going to watch it, but if they do, hallelujah. I had a message from a woman 2 days ago that messaged me after I had snapped back at one of the trolls in the comments, which I'm trying not to do, but I'm human. Okay. And she said, I never thought of it that way. What you said to this person, she screenshotted it. And she said, I just want to tell you, I'm sorry for judging and I'm going to work on that. And I was like, that's all I can ask. You know, you're forgiven. I'm not, you know, it is what it is. But yeah. All right, loves. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the replay. DM me, DFB or Soul Up if you want to join us in the Soul Up community. If you want to start working on your own Divine Feminine Awakening journey, you can grab my Divine Feminine bundle. You can join our waitlist for the Sacred Union Blueprint program. Again, not just for people that have been through betrayal or infidelity. It's just for anyone, any couples that really want to take their marriage and their union to the next level, to create a sacred union. They're tired of complacency. They're tired of miscommunication. They're tired of no communication. They're tired of feeling disrespected. They're tired of feeling unfulfilled. They're tired of feeling not happy. And you want to work on all the things to take it to the next level. That's what that's for. So I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, loves.